What's up, everyone? I am Ernest Dove of the Dove Report. I'm at it again, giving a full breakdown of the entire New York Mets minor league system. Please stick with me. I want to give you tons of information on a bunch of prospects at every single affiliate, kind of singling out, detailing out some of their information, their stats, maybe a little source intel, and some information. I want to give you the most balanced information, and they are not all positive. I'm giving a balanced update on the farm system for some of the highest known names, some of the lower names to keep an eye on. As always, you get it all here on my reports. I want to start in low A. We're going with the recent third round pick, Aiden Robbins, the outfielder, age 21. He's been quiet now with a bat. I haven't been reporting about him daily online on social media on X. He's only, looks like he has a home run in August, 6 walks, 10 Ks, 3 stolen bases. So not gathering a lot of hits, but not really striking out a lot. And he's getting on base. Defensively, I know there's some talk about him. Maybe he's one of those guys. He's been playing a lot of center field with the Mets organization. He got squeezed into left field and right. Usually with high kind of ranking, kind of high profile players like this, I assume that Aiden Robbins will play a lot of center field even into next year. And then again, possibly projection-wise, maybe move over to left or right. Another outfielder making his grand return. It's been a while again. Outfielder Eli Serrano. I know if you guys remember his name, ever since getting drafted a couple of years ago, he's pretty much been on the IL every season, at least one time per year. This is a top 30, even top 20 ranked guy nationally, consensus-wise, among outlets and publications because of the thought of Eli Serrano. He's 6'5", about 200 plus pounds. He's a physical specimen. One of those guys that sees the ball well, high exit velo guy, nice barrel rates. It's just that he hasn't stayed on the field. Just came back. He's not hitting so far in his rehab assignment with the St. Lucie Mets, but he's got 5 walks to 4 Ks in his rehab outings in total. So he's seeing the ball okay, but that could also be his thing. For the future, for healthy Eli Serrano, I think still respectfully, there's been some projections or maybe even ceilings. We may be looking at a very solid platoon outfield bat. As a lefty bat, he's been struggling a bit against opposing lefties when healthy. So I'm curious, when will the power finally shine? When will he stay healthy? When that's all put together, could he still find himself being more of a fourth outfielder because of a possible platoon need? As we get to another draft pick again, 9th round pick, Ryan Taman. The same thing as with Robbins. He was on fire his first week, first series or so in the pro organization now with the Mets in low A. Things have slowed down for him. Really small sample size. He's 1 for his last 11, but 5 walks and 4 Ks for him during this 1 for 11 streak. He's not really getting fooled at the plate. What I want to bring up respectfully with Ryan Taman, this is a catcher here, 11 games played, 2 errors, 3 pass balls. He's thrown out only 5 of 18 batters. That's something, small sample size, first pro season, getting the kinks out now in pro ball after a long college year. I want to see how he does defensively going forward into next year and beyond. What kind of true defensive catcher do we have here? Because the bat looked really good early, and I think it's still a really good bat. Last, for my guys in low A, do you remember him? Jeremy Rodriguez, J-Rod, from that Tommy Pham trade. Yes, it's been a few years. He's still only 20 years old. He's also having an injury history of sorts, getting back. Looks like Jeremy Rodriguez is finally hot again. He's on a 6-game hitting streak, hits in 8 of his last 9 games played. He has 5 multi-hit games in his last 9 played. Jeremy Rodriguez, I've respectfully called him a bat-first infielder. He's been playing a little bit more second base than shortstop this time around recently, which makes more sense to me. Even the numbers and stats reflect it. He's been a little bit better defensively, glove, errors, the whole 9 yards, more at second base than short. And I know looking forward, depending on enough power, if he can generate enough power, I think his arm strength could handle third, but it looks like a projection-wise, second base might be best for a smaller-ish player like this. As we head to high A, we're going to go with the New York-born Mets fan, Sammy Stafora. He's 21 years old, part of the guys in the trades at the deadline. He was on fire in the first 5 games. Now, all of a sudden, the last 7, he's been in a slump. 1 for 29. He has a high K rate. He's been pretty much a all of the time shortstop playing since he got traded to the Mets. I believe he's a really good defensive player. Offensively, again, I'm not overthinking this 1 for 29. He was hot the first 5 games, but the K rate going forward for sure is something to keep an eye on, because here we are in A-ball in his previous organization and now with the Mets. K rate is a little high. Once he gets a AA, AAA, how much higher can that K rate go? That could determine his future overall, but it looks like he's getting a lot of looks specifically at short. Looks like the Mets value him and his defense at short. I want to see how that plays up the levels. Then we go to my young star. 18-year-old Elian Pena got the promotion to high A. I was shocked. I talked to the Mets organization, and even one of my sources was like, dude, I think it's great. It was an amazing value here. The pushing him with David Stearns, pushing Pena to high A. The early results, he's only 1 for 9, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Pretty interesting that immediately, I believe his only games played so far, whereas as a DH to get his feet wet, then they had him at second base. Because again, a guy like Sammy Stafora, maybe that's a lot of value. Not saying they value Stafora more than Pena, but Stafora is a little bit older. They love his defense. And with a young kid like Pena, who has over 25 errors on the season at shortstop at low A level, you want to start moving him around second base, third base. I want to see how much second base or even third Elian Pena plays in these final couple of series in the minor league season. In the outfield, one of the kids or guys from the Peralta trade, outfielder Aiden Smith. Overall, 13 games, 4 home runs. He's hitting .306 with a .999 OPS with the Mets organization in high A. He has 9 walks, 19 Ks in 13 games. That is also something, obviously, to keep an eye on. I believe he was a high K rate guy as well in the Rays organization, but he was highly ranked. He was somewhere between ranked 10 and 15, I believe, in the Rays organization, and they have one of the top farm systems in baseball. Possibly the only reason why he's not top 5 with all of his tools and athleticism is because of the K rate. But you know what? I'll take it. So far, so good. He's got the old school batting average over 300, and he has 4 home runs in 13 games. I'm curious about this kind of athlete. Can he be another version of a Mitch Voit? Different type of players, but can these type of athletes thrive in the Mets organization with their player development? One of the younger guys who's been off and on, coming from starting the season on the IL, one of my favorites, 20-year-old Trey Snyder. He's been up and down statistically all season, starting with his rehab assignments, I believe in complex league, low A. Now he's in high A. He was struggling in high A through most of August, but he's 4 for his last 11. Now, again, I've been overhyping Trey Snyder. I've even made videos about, hey, can he blossom into the right-handed A.J. Ewing as far as make a leap because of his talent, because of his offense? Can he make leaps and strides as a second baseman / center fielder? I have a lot of belief still in Trey Snyder. Not sure where that goes with guys like Ewing, obviously, in the outfield and center field. You've got Mitch Voit and a lot of other players I'll be talking about in the infield positions. Not really sure of the future anymore for Trey Snyder, but he's going to provide value to the Mets organization one way or another, be that with a future active roster spot or trade. Going to the pitching, you know, one of my favorites, I've kind of worried about him since joining and being promoted to high A, the lefty Nicholas Carreño, who's only 20 years old. He's a 95-plus arm as a lefty. He finally had one of the outings I've been waiting on this week. 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk in only 5 2/3, or as many as. That's a big deal. 7 strikeouts. He's always going to be a K rate guy. I love the only having 1 walk in 5 2/3. This is going to determine his entire future. I've been labeling him as a future long man 98 plus mile an hour pen arm. He could do that and just get rid of what I've been talking about and remain a rotation starter. That's going to be up to him, but I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you want arms like this, 98 plus in the pen, or do you want this type of talent to try out very young and grow into an ongoing rotation role? The other guy I want to talk about, just as young, 20-year-old, the righty, Emilio Obispo. He's now in 5 starts at the high A level. Remember, he was 19 years old when he made his debut in high A. Now he just turned 20 a couple weeks ago. He's through 4 starts, 3.18 ERA, 17 innings, 8 walks, 20 Ks. The walks are what they are. I've been talking about Obispo. He's a guy that has command issues and hiccups in a lot of games. When he's on, 3.18, 20 strikeouts and 17. That's going to determine his future as well as a righty. He's not, I don't believe he's 97 plus, but he can get it up there with a lot of pitch movement. His future between long man, rotation, pen, it's again also going to come down to command. Last guy I want to talk about. Remember him? Calvin Ziegler. Yes, he is still alive, folks. What I want to bring up is his walks have been all over the place, but August, 4 appearances in high A, 0 earned runs. What's the issue? 3 2/3 innings. They're keeping it very tight with him. His innings cap is a cap one way or another. Whether it's during the inning, if it's in an at-bat, they will pull him. 3 2/3, 4 walks, 5 Ks. But as a result, in these outings with the walks, he's not giving up runs. You just got to wait him out. I have no idea what to do with Calvin Ziegler. He's now 23 years old as a former high school draft pick. What is the future for Calvin Ziegler? First and foremost, just be on the mound in 2027 and go from there. You have to assume no matter what, project him as a full-time reliever one way or another going forward. As we head to the AA All-Star team, this is going to take a while. Mitch Voit, he's hitting .433 since being promoted to the Rumble Ponies. 12 walks, 14 Ks. It was reported, I reported it online per the Rumble Ponies broadcast. He was hit with a pitch on Tuesday and hasn't played since. Now, as of this video on Friday, he had missed games Wednesday and Thursday. My understanding is that, again, this was a day-by-day thing to just rest him, precautionary. He may even play, for all I know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be on the lookout in the box scores, but Mitch Voit has been on fire. Speaking of fire, the super infielder Marco Vargas, remember from the David Robertson trade? He's been injured for parts of every single season since he was acquired by the Mets. He's back healthy again, and he really is doing it. August, 409 with a 1.027 OPS in a 10-game span. Again, this is an above-average glove at short and second. He could be, in my opinion, a legit, versatile utility player. I keep using the same names over and over again. Maybe he could be a Luisangel Acuna / Luis Guillorme role on a 26-man for the future Mets. Or, like I said with Trey Snyder, guys like this in the middle infield, are they going to get packaged in trades? I'm curious to find out, but he's a wonderful young man, and he's hot. Then we get to the top of things. The Mets' new #1 prospect, Jefferson Rojas. He's now through 13 games in the Mets organization at this AA level. He's hitting .269 with an .822 OPS. What I also love, 13 games, 5 walks, 7 Ks. So he's not striking out. He also has 7 extra base hits. And he looks to me like one of those Mr. Exit Velo guys. I haven't talked about this since a guy like Jesus Baez, who's absolutely thriving with a 30 home run season in the Cardinals organization. Not necessarily comparing them pound for pound, but Jefferson Rojas makes a lot of hard contact all the time, every game. Defensively, they even snuck him back at short this week, but I really like the small sample size at third base. I like his arm strength. I like his glove. I like his accuracy there. And again, talking Mets organization, even with the latest reports that Bo Bichette might be opting in or just not opting out, we'll see if Bo Bichette is going to be staying at third base. Maybe he moves to second. Maybe they have a Jefferson Rojas have to move to second if you just have to get this bat to the major league level, even as soon as next season. Another guy now, you have to question his future with the Mets organization. Top 10 prospect, Jacob Reimer. I interviewed him earlier in the year, talked about some of the weight loss, improved agility. He was looking better at third base, but then he had injuries as well. He's now come back. In his last 14 games played, 293 with only a 745 OPS. Not a lot of power since he's come back from his latest IL stints, but 15 RBIs in 14 games, 4 walks, 10 Ks. That's kind of his thing. I think that balance could be even better when he's fully healthy. I think Jacob Reimer is an OBP guy. I think he's a gap hitter, one of those 15-ish home run guys, maybe add it depending on the season, depending on the right circumstances. But again, what do you do with him? Already in AA, he's seeing more time at first base right now because you have guys like Pitre at the time before his promotion to AAA. You've got Rojas. You have newer guys like Billy Amick, who I'll talk about, who just got promoted. They're trying to shove him around more to first base than third recently to give other top dogs playing time. I'm curious about his future. Another guy, Chris Suero, finally. He's been hitting that Mendoza line all season with a high K rate. All of a sudden, quietly, he's on a 5-game hit streak. And for the entire month of August, 273, 891 OPS. But again, so far, he's 9 for his last 19. The man is playing center field along with catcher. He has over 30 stolen bases this year. He just broke 16 home runs for the season. If he gets hot at the end, he could probably have a 2020 season as a guy who catches and plays center field. It's insane. I don't know how high he can go in 2027, but what if he's eligible and earns the right to get to AAA, gets to the major leagues? If you have Alvarez and Torrens still around, you can add him to the roster. That can give Alvarez the type of opportunity to play a lot more DH if you needed it in a certain situation. Now we have my OBP guy, Corey Collins, who, by the way, has been playing some left field on this AA All-Star team because of how many guys there are, including guys like Reimer getting those shots at first. But he also came back to first base for a game or two this week. Corey Collins, he's now 25 games into his AA career. And in these 25 games, he's hitting 276 with a 429 on-base percentage, thanks to 19 walks in 25 games, 21 Ks. He's a walking ABS human machine. He also, by the way, has 5 home runs in 25 games. Why does that matter? Last season, mostly a lot of time in Brooklyn with those wins as a lefty, 4 home runs in 69 games. He's got 5 in 25 this year, mainly also because he's healthy. The ballpark is different, and his health has been different. And again, the Mets organization has told him he reminds their eye of Juan Soto. Not saying he hits like Juan Soto, but they say his eye at the plate is mirroring and close to the level of Juan Soto. So he knows what's happening at the plate. On the pitchers, one of the newer guys, Gary Gil Hill, has been a machine. He's pretty much almost averaging 6 innings per start, which in the minor leagues is actually a big deal with some of the innings and pitch restraints. He's got a 3.18 ERA in his 3 starts in the Mets organization, 17 innings, 12 hits, only 4 walks because that's his commit. That's his thing. 17 Ks. Extreme small sample size. Gary Gil Hill has a much higher K rate with the Mets than he did with, I believe, the Rays organization. Will that stick? That can make him a legit, bona fide future starting pitcher rotation arm if his K rate can jump now with the Mets organization. With his command, I've been calling him the right-handed Zach Thornton because he's more 93, 94. Maybe he can touch 95. I believe in Gary Gil Hill making his debut next year for the Mets one way or another. But will it be long man? Will it be rotation? Maybe that's up to the K rate. Then we have one of my favorites, of course, 20th round pick from last year, Garrett Stratton. The numbers continue to be ridiculous this week. At the AA level, he's now made 19 appearances, 25 in the 3rd innings, 15 hits, 1.78 ERA, One walk, and it was intentional. One intentional walk in 25 and a third innings with 32 strikeouts. This is insane. He's also a spin rate guy. He's an analytics metric arm. He's not one of those straight ball throwers. He has a lot of spin and yet is walking literally no one intentionally. This is amazing. I can only overhype it so much. I believe Garrett Stratton is going to come out of nowhere, make his debut next season for the Mets as a 20th round pick. Everyone's going to have a field day when they see this happen. The other guy who's been up and down, I've been worried about him all season. I thought he'd be in the major leagues this year. Saul Garcia. He's been up and down all because of command. But during August, 7 appearances, 1.93 ERA, 9 1/3 innings, 3 walks, which is amazing for him. 3 walks in 9 innings, that's good for Saul Garcia. 11 strikeouts, only 6 hits in the 9 innings. His entire future comes down to pitch command, folks. He's so filthy. He has some of the filthiest sliders in the New York Mets farm system. But again, why is he not in the major leagues this year? Pitch command. It's been too inconsistent. I have to be respectful and report that. As we get to AAA, got to start with one of the new guys who got promoted, Emilian Pitre. Very small sample size to begin his AAA Syracuse kind of debut. He's 3 for 12. Here's the important thing. 1 walk, 1 K. That's his thing. He's a bat-on-ball guy. His entire future maybe comes down to power. How many home runs can he hit? Today's baseball loves home runs to be a starter. With enough home runs, maybe he's an everyday player. Without enough home runs, is he a Jeff McNeil? Is he a Guillorme? Is he a utility player? Is he a Brett Beatty as a guy who plays around the infield? Looks like he's played second base and third base in the Mets organization, as well as with the Rays mostly. I want to see what he does, where they play him. Nowhere else to go. He can almost break camp on the 26-man next year, depending on the need, because of his bat-to-ball skills. Could be a high-floor guy. Then you have one of my guys. He's been struggling in August, but I'm going to be honest and bring him up. Nick Morabito has done poorly in August, but 16 games in August, 6 walks, 12 Ks. His K rate is still pretty low for him. That was my concern coming into the year because he's added power. I believe he hit another home run this week. He adds to his career pro season high every time he hits one. So he added power to his game this year while not adding to the K rate. So what his changes in plate discipline approach hasn't impacted the K rate, but he hasn't been hitting as much. Could that always be the thing that hampers him? Not putting enough bat on ball in play to be a major leaguer, even if it's 4th, 5th outfield. Then I'm going to bring up our guy because I have to. Ronnie Mauricio. He's played 48 games with the Syracuse Mets. He has 15 home runs, 45 RBIs, and an 888 OPS. I do this every week. He's hit a bunch of bombs everywhere. Some of the home runs are more maybe slider, changeup. I keep trying to find a home run off a curveball as best that I can because I understand how that works. I want to keep mentioning him. Again, he's out of options after this year. I have no idea why Ronnie Mauricio is not in the major leagues. You might as well see what he has before the season ends, and then you have no choice. We have our guy, Billy Amick, Billy Barrels, who came in and hit a home run every other game in AA when he came over in the trade, got the promotion, and he has started 2 for 12 with a home run and 6 Ks. That's what we got. Is Billy Amick the right-handed Ryan Clifford? That may be the case, but we're going to see. He's had spurts of a good batting average as well. So can he manufacture enough hits between the Ks? Then we have our guy, the lefty, Jonathan Santucci, who, as a consensus, depending on who you ask, between him and Tong, you can argue Jonathan Santucci has been ranked now as the #1 pitching prospect in the Mets organization. But 4 starts into his AAA career, 7.71 ERA, 14 innings, 16 walks, 18 Ks. That's it. I still respectfully, looking at the box scores, I don't even really see a lot of damage from the hits given up. It's the walks that's killing him every outing. Is it because of the baseball being different? Is it because of other changes he's making? My concern is the walks are up there, but I think he's still relying way too much on a fastball slider. He's got to keep incorporating a changeup at least trying as well to add a fourth pitch. Then we have another one of the newer guys. He's the older prospect that we got in the Brazoban trade. I believe it was also for Gabe Davis. But then we got Zach Franklin. Now, Zach Franklin has made 6 appearances, so he eats a lot of innings and appearances. 3.38 ERA, 8 innings, 7 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks. Overall, good. He had a recent really solid 2 scoreless. I think he could be an innings-eating guy. I'm not necessarily comparing. I don't want to compare the stuff, but maybe he has a floor of being yet another Pintaro-type arm to call up and eat innings weekly. Then the other guy, I love him, 29 years old, Brian McGuire. He's now through 6 appearances since his promotion to AAA, 2.57 ERA. Here's the fun part. 7 innings, 4 hits, 5 walks, 15 strikeouts. 7 innings, 15 Ks. He's absolutely filthy. Like many guys in the Mets organization, can he throw enough strikes? If he throws enough strikes, he's making his debut maybe as a 30-year-old next season for the New York Mets and Queens. Thank you guys so much for watching. What are your thoughts on a lot of these guys? Are you higher on more than others? Do you think the extreme small sample sizes on a lot of the deadline guys and draft picks, do you believe it or not believe it? What do you think of the entire farm system as a whole at this point? You guys let me know in the comments. Thank you.